Cryptic Castaways. My name's Spencer, one of the hosts for this episode. And this is the first episode of a series of Halloween-themed episodes that we're doing for the month of October. On this episode, we'll be discussing the anomalies of cryptids, strange creatures that are found throughout the world. So come on, drift on in, and listen to the Castaways.
So I think first, we'll talk about the most popular Bigfoot. Oh, so what is Bigfoot, everybody? Oh God, if only we knew.
What the fuck is
He got big feet.
Sasquatch. And it's not like he's even popular around here. He's barely sighted at all at fucking Tennessee. So, that's great.
Is he sighted any in Tennessee?
A little bit.
Not so.
Apparently he's sighted less in Montana than anywhere else in the world. Don't know how the fuck that happened.
Yeah.
He's most found in California, Washington, and Florida.
No.
I don't know what the fuck he's doing in Florida.
I think the California-Washington area is where that picture was taken.
Yeah, I
the
think
famous
so.
Bigfoot picture.
It looks like the
Video.
California,
See,
Washington
I don't
area.
understand
Because
that's
of like
where
the
it's from.
trees.
Yeah.
I don't understand that video because it was like the first footage of Bigfoot, and not only that, but it's the hardest one to debunk. Like hardly anybody's been able to like truly debunk it or like claim it's actually real.
Because it makes sense. You know, one thing I have seen an argument for that, and it's a little strange, but it could be a bear walking upright.
It doesn't look like like a fucking bear. Like I know it has fucking
doesn't.
tits on it though.
Yeah, it doesn't really look like a bear. So the reason I say that is that they found this bear walking upright through like a neighborhood not too long ago, and the reason it did is because it hurt its paws. So I guess bears just like kind of naturally like will learn to adjust, and they can walk like a biped.
But you really can't like deny that sway.
Yeah, the sway.
That long stride.
Yeah, the
It's
sway.
fucking weird.
It's very human. Yeah, it's very natural.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the image here, actually, and it does... I mean, it doesn't really look like a bear to me, because it doesn't have... Bears have a very pronounced face.
Yeah.
Here on this, you don't see that bear face.
That snout.
It's such a,
Yeah, you
it's
don't
such
see
a
the snout.
fucking iconic image, too.
It is, yeah.
Really,
Like,
it
nobody
looks...
can put, like, the guy who filmed it said on his deathbed that this shit was real.
Damn.
So,
You know it's real on his deathbed.
he's like, yeah, he's like, you know, that footage is fucking real. It's fucking not.
Look,
It's like,
all
holy
I
shit.
care about is, if Bigfoot is real, I want to see his monkey cheeks.
So,
Alright. Now, the Florida Bigfoot, I know who that is now. It's actually the skunk ape.
Yeah, the skunk ape.
Which is the fucking
I've heard
smelly
it called
ass
that. Damn, why do they smell if they're from Florida?
It's actually some guy on bath salts and a ghillie suit.
Yeah, I
Have
could
you
believe
seen
it.
an image of the skunk ape?
No, I mean,
You've
they
never
even though it has one of the highest sightings for it, it's still like fucking.
Alright, I'll show
there's,
you
like,
a picture
nothing
of
on
him really quickly. He's pretty fucking creepy, but some people
Oh,
say...
Oh
yeah, I've seen
shit,
some
that's
people-
terrifying.
Some people say it's an orangutan.
It looks like an orangutan.
it. But that
So,
hair is, like-
but some people
hair's
say
pretty good.
it's it's a Sasquatch or it's a type of Bigfoot.
You'll have to throw these photos.
I really love all these photos of Bigfoot, all these fucking shots, all the people who try to hoax it. I was reading on Wiki right here, the guy who actually got hit by a fucking car back in. He got hit by a car in the mid-90s. He was wearing a ghillie suit. I think he was walking on like side of the road, and then some guy just fucking ran into him.
Like on purpose, because he thought he was Bigfoot?
Maybe.
He was like...
It was a small passage on the.
But there are like tons of sightings of like different types of Bigfoots throughout the U.S. and even in the world. I mean, in the Himalayas, you got the Yeti.
Yes, which is
Well, that-
essentially the same thing.
It would make sense because we're in different areas of America, or even in the world. There will be different species of Bigfoot.
Yeah, different
They'll all be
breeds.
sort of the same.
I think Bigfoot's a very interesting cryptid because it's so, I don't want to say like popular, because popular implies like a socio like status, but, and it obviously does have a type of like social status, but widely seen. Like there's tons of reports of Bigfoot sighting. I mean, like you don't hear like ton of I'm trying to think of like another cryptid, like
The Mothman or something.
yeah, or I'm trying to think of something maybe that could be found throughout the world like Bigfoot is. That's not, like in one certain area, but you don't hear about anything else like that. Bigfoot's the only thing that you hear about that's like, it's everywhere. Multiple people have seen them, thousands of people have.
Yeah. I know that my dad says he's seen a Bigfoot, but then again, that's also the guy who tells me a lot of things.
It tells me a lot of
I think,
A lot of untrue things.
my mom used to tell me a story about one of our uncles and the situation with Alpo, which is actually supposed to be the Tennessee Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's what my
Alpo.
dad's saying.
And it actually, it screams, or its calls actually sound like Alpo.
Really?
from what my mom said, my uncle knows a lot about hollering and screaming actually stopped after a while, so they think I'm dead. I tried to do research on it. There's not too much on them.
Yeah, that's another interesting thought. Like you said, maybe it's died. Is it like a decaying species? Like, is Bigfoot? So obviously, there's multiple Bigfoot. We assume that there's not just one type of Bigfoot. There's different.
I mean, he
species.
can't be everywhere in the U.S. all at once, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So there's got to be multiple ones or different species of it, if at all.
I've seen numerous documentaries of like people suggest like small packs of Bigfoots.
Yeah, I've heard of that before.
Yeah. I mean, on those Bigfoot hunting shows, you don't know if it's real or not, but they try to say, you know, there's like a whole, I guess, culture within the Bigfoot species. Like, they all have different mating calls, they all have different temperaments, you know, like emotions and like how aggressive they are.
Right, how territorial.
Yeah, territorial. And then, of course, you know, they've got different ways of living. Some create like sculptures and with like bones and stuff, and some, of course,
I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And they have, you know, dens. Obviously, they have different type of dens as well.
Native places.
Yeah, and they have different. I guess the way they have feeding grounds are. Some are more civilized. I guess obviously, I don't know. It's weird.
We have tons of fucking prints, tons of photos, tons of videos, tons of sightings, but nobody knows if they're still fucking around, or even if they exist in the first place.
Yeah, that's what trying to like kind of stab at is because if I mean, obviously they would have to reproduce somehow, so there's got to be enough of them out there to be able to reproduce. So maybe there's like a time limit to like their species survival. Like maybe they're, you know, on the brink of extinction, and you know, because they don't have anybody else to breed with, maybe in our lifetimes there will be no more Bigfoots.
Here's another thing: they really started coming around with video. When video and photography started getting big. Now I don't know if there's any like huge reports for that time. Like, I guess, like, you know, old journal passages or newspapers that like claimed an ape man walking around the woods.
Yeah.
I know they got really big during when photography and video started getting better.
Yeah, it's interesting.
When you were able to host stuff.
That's also something you have to look out for is things that are predating technology, such as, you know, photography,
photo and video, or like quick photo and video. Because
if some guy could get an image of say a Bigfoot using an old 10 camera, then pretty crazy.
I'm really surprised
that'd be
at
super
all the
crazy
hoaxes over dead Bigfoots. There's people on here that said they had killed Bigfoot, and I know theirs was really popular. They actually got a suit and they filled it full of
I've heard of
elk intestines and stuff like that. They just stuffed it full of fucking animals and like threw it in a pen.
Yeah, I've heard of that. And then they like made the news too, and like national news, and then they came out and said that it's fake. I think what it was, like, they were, you know, they didn't think it through, and then they realized like people, like scientists, would want to like study the body, and then they knew as soon as the scientists are going to look at it, they're going to be like, yeah, that's not Bigfoot.
There's this one guy who claimed, I think this is what it's saying here, he claimed he shot Bigfoot, brought it back, and then he said he got rid of the real body.
That's so stupid.
In fear it would be stolen.
What?
Yeah.
I was scared that somebody was going to take it, so I took it myself.
I took it away. I disposed of it.
That's that sounds like
he
a
tore
lie.
Around he said that he did kill Bigfoot, but he didn't take the rope. He had some guy manufacture a profit.
Yeah, that sounds fake.
That's pretty hoax. There's tons of people on those type of TV shows that say, "Oh yeah, you know, I shot Bigfoot, or I wounded, or I killed it,
or even I seen him."
Yeah, or even I seen him. But how many of those people are
telling the truth? Yeah, I think, and that's, you know, I was talking earlier about the like how prestigious Bigfoot is as a cryptid. It's, you know, it's like evolved beyond the term of cryptid. It's not in the like same classification anymore. It's kind of ascended to like its own thing, and it's obviously very popular media. I don't think you can talk to anybody and, you know, ask them what Bigfoot is and them not know. You know, it's
entwined with American culture now.
Yeah, I agree. So there's this whole culture around, you know, like, oh, I saw it, like, you know, wanting to have that kind of
that experience or encounter.
There's organizations everywhere.
It's kind of the same with aliens too, because a lot of people
Yeah, I agree.
claim to have those encounters.
Oh, it's so much easier to fake alien footage because there's fuck tons of
Yeah, you can fake it, but
it's super easy.
you know, there's tons of people out there who do that, do say they have encounters. Some of them may or may not be true. Who knows? But we're not talking about aliens on this podcast for this episode, so
We'll save that till
You guys
later.
want to talk about Nessie?
Sure.
Loch Ness Monster?
Sure.
Now, that's actually one of my... I actually enjoy Nessie a lot than Bigfoot, only because of, I think, the Loch Ness Monster's impact is actually, I think, a lot cooler, and it's a lot more unique. Only because of how fucking hard it would be to actually prove that something like that is in this huge-ass lake. Like, you know, you have Bigfoot, which, you know, it can be spanned across the entirety of America, and you'd have to search for it.
Right.
But then you got the Loch Ness Monster, where it's just in this giant fucking lake,
Right.
and nobody can really, like, access or get to it and prove that this monster's fucking real. And we haven't heard of the Loch Ness Monster, like, in forever.
Right.
Like, there's no reports on it anymore, there's nothing.
It's gone.
And I've seen documentaries where people they thought they found, like, you know, what was Nessie, and I don't know. I'm just really sad that you don't hear much of about her anymore.
Yeah, the Loch Ness Monster is interesting. I think that's another one that's kind of like ascended beyond, you know, the title of Cryptid. It's kind of like its own thing now.
There's a good
It's
movie.
entwined. And,
I would say that Nessie is pretty similar to Bigfoot in the fact that a lot of lakes, major lakes in the U.S. have a Nessie-like creature in them.
right.
Especially big popular lakes.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
this
big
one,
ones.
the photo, you know, the key photo. of
Yeah,
this
the
is-
classic photo.
That's
famous
a
photo.
that the guy who took that actually came out and said that it was fake.
Yeah, that's
Really?
fake.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
It's
just
a
took a
log,
little.
It's a little submarine.
That's
picture.
wild. I didn't know he just came out and said that it's fake. I know there's been a lot of studying of the video, or of that photo, excuse me, and they've said things like, oh, it may be driftwood, or it may be this, or it may be that.
I don't know. It's just something about the Loch Ness Monster that I found like a lot more believable than Bigfoot. Because it's in fucking water.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude, we don't even know what's in most of our oceans.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
We explored like 5% of them. There's no doubt in my mind that
A lot
there's
of people-
shit like this roaming around.
Yeah, a lot of people believe that there's megalodons, you know,
Maybe.
swimming around. But there's also one off the coast of California that they're calling the Black Demon, which
What?
is just a huge shark that's supposed to be bigger than a megalodon.
Holy shit.
And
that's
much more
ginormous.
aggressive.
What? That's ginormous.
And
man.
off like the coast of California.
And it's black?
That's what. Oh, I don't know. They call it the Black Demon. A lot of people say is all they can see is a black silhouette swimming underneath them.
It's wild.
So, but I don't know how much that's true either.
Right.
You know? I would say because it's easier to do a landmass investigation
Right.
rather than the ocean, because in the ocean
You gotta have
or a lake,
equipment.
you have to have the equipment, you have to have the oxygen to go underneath it and swim it, and
Right.
It's so much more expensive.
it's also
Yeah.
it's much more expensive. It's like with Josh
a lot less
Gates.
accessible.
Yeah, it's like what Josh Gates did with his Destination Truth and Expedition Unknown series, where he would like search for cryptids, and sometimes they would look for Nessie-like creatures.
Mm-hmm.
They never found them, but they always seemed to think they found footage of something.
Right.
So
Right. They always
Big
would like
monster.
find something.
yeah,
Now, Nessie is supposed to be this creature, which is like a Paleosaurus or something like that. I don't know what it's called.
I think that's right.
That's
Paleosaurus.
This is something that like a lot of people claim to see in these bigger lakes, not just Loch Ness, but just everywhere. But and they're not that big. I wouldn't say it's like something like tremendous, like people bring out to be what is the Loch Ness Monster, but I mean something like that is totally believable in lakes and oceans.
Yeah, I could see it. I mean, like, if I think any like dinosaur would have survived, the great extinction of their period, I think it would have been some kind of creature that was existing in the water, because I think a lot of their food source would still stay alive, and they would also have, they did have like the oxygen issues that the other dinosaurs.
land ones would have.
You know how much I'd love to have these fucking things still running around.
That'd be terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't.
just seeing this fucking thing in the lake.
I'd be
No.
terrified. I'd be fucking terrified.
I would. Yeah.
See, that would just add to my deep fear of the ocean. That's another reason why I'm scared of the ocean, is because fucking megalodons.
The next one I have is the
Giant
Jersey Devil,
shark
which
eat
is
my
I
ass.
don't think the Jersey Devil is real. However, I think the concept and the story behind how the Jersey Devil came about. I believe how the story goes is there's a woman who I guess got knocked up by Satan.
Got knocked up.
Birthed a demon child in her house, and it like crawled out of the chimney and fucking went into the woods.
Holy
That's
shit!
How the Jersey Devil came about.
Crawled out the chimney.
Is that how it turned around?
I've never like. I'm not big on these stories. I've done minimal investigation.
I mean, I've always heard of the Jersey Devil, but I've never like
origin.
Looked into the story. I've always heard, people say it's just this flying goat-headed pterodactyl-like creature that like picks up kids,
holy shit,
small dogs and stuff and eats them.
Sounds horrifying.
That's what I've always heard, but I've never heard of the origin story. Because I never think that any of these creatures would have an origin story.
Right? Yeah, they're kind of like you find them. You don't know
stumble
about
upon
them.
it.
Yeah.
Rather than, hey, this is how this kind of came about.
Yeah, you know its history. It's like almost like you kind of believe like these things kind of predate our existence. Like Bigfoot's something that's been around,
or it's
forever.
Yeah,
we don't know about it.
It's been here since we've been here,
right?
And we just didn't know it till recently.
It's also fucking terrifying. I don't know if you guys ever seen the Jersey Devil.
Holy shit! I didn't suspect it to look like that.
It picks up children. Yeah. The one thing I do know, it does have hooves, it does have bat wings and a goat head, but it comes in a variety of bodies depending on the depiction. Now
it's like a damn goat with wings.
There's not really any reports of the Jersey Devil at all.
Huh? That's kind of just like a myth.
Yeah, it's just that.
There's no like photo of it like there is a Bigfoot.
There's no like iconic tie into it.
I gotcha.
But according to popular folklore, Jersey Devil originated from Pond Baron's residence named Jane Leeds, is known as Mother Leeds. The legend states that Mother Leeds had 12 children, and after finding she was pregnant with the 13th time, cursed the child in frustration, crying that the child would be the devil. During 1735, Mother Leeds was in labor on a stormy night while her friends gathered around.
Stormy. Like how it was stormy.
Stormy. Born as a normal child, the 13th child changed into a creature with hooves, a goat head, and bat wings, and with a forked tail, growling and screaming. It killed the midwife before flying up the chimney and heading into the ponds.
Yikes.
In some versions of the tale, Mother Leeds was supposedly a witch, and her child's father was a devil himself. See, that's cool as shit, dude.
That's crazy.
I remember the documentary of this when they explained this, and I was scared out of my fucking mind.
Yeah, that sounds very terrifying.
Out of all of the cryptids, I know the Jersey Devil is by far the one I feared the most as a child.
Yeah.
I was after reading about them, after seeing the documentaries, this was the one that kept me up all night.
Yeah, I could see why, because it's kind of capable of just picking you up and flying off and
right.
going anywhere. I mean, that's the only stories I've ever heard of the Jersey Devil was the fact that it picked up, like kids were saying, it picked them up and flew.
Yeah, and tried to
take them away.
In the documentaries that I watched, it just fucking come into your house, fucking hoofing in there, just fucking come in there and eat you.
Just hoof on into your house. I don't want the part of that. I will say that that origin story sounds very canonical. It sounds very very rote. It's like the 13th child, the stormy night.
The Leeds family's real. They call it the Leeds demon.
Yeah,
and
I believe it.
I don't know if this family's still kicking around, or its descendants are, but
it could have just been some kids who were creating some horror story to make other kids in the neighborhood scared.
Yeah, and
the child could have possibly been born, but it was deformed and it died during birth. That's probably what had happened. And the father could have just been around and just left.
Yeah, because that happens. Yeah. I mean, kids have bastard children, so it's just maybe kids making a mean story about someone.
Yeah, because it's. I watched a documentary about a serial killer in New Jersey recently called Cropsey. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. It's on Netflix and Hulu. It's really good.
I'll put it on my list.
But essentially, it's about how these kids during a time era created this serial killer and a persona that didn't really exist and called him Cropsey. And as the kids grew up, they had kids and they told their kids not to go near a certain place or go into the woods at night alone, otherwise Cropsey would get you.
Yeah.
It was their way of, distilling fear into the kids to obey.
Right.
But at the same time, when those kids grew up,
They told their kids.
no, the serial killer did come across, and they nicknamed him Cropsy because of the legend.
Oh,
So
that's crazy. Dang.
There's a cool fact. One of the first, and then there's another one, 1840, 1841, 1937, 1925, 1957. They're all, like, most of these encounters were stupid fucking old.
Right.
Now, I think, and there's no modern.
No modern ones.
No, like the
What was
latest I'm seeing right now is 1960.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, and that's before like good photo.
yeah.
That's like
I'm really curious on how that turned out. If it was fucking real, dude, I'd have to question my entire existence, my beliefs, and everything.
I don't know. That one's
You could
crazy.
say that
That
it's
was
really,
also on the fifth
really,
episode
really
of the
old.
X-Files.
Yeah, it's on the X-Files.
Huh? That's
It's depicted as a wild man rather than a traditional creature. That's
So-
fucking stupid.
so if it's like what was the first one? It was like 1820.
Yeah.
So if we assume if it was still around, it would be nearly 200 years old at this point. So it has like if it is a creature, like a living creature, not like some type of paranormal being like a ghost or something, it's been around for 200 years.
Supposedly born in 1936, and its first, I guess, reported encounter in 1820.
Crazy.
He was hunting on his border town estate about 1820. Jersey Devil was blamed for several livestock killings and several attacks during 1841. And they had accompanied by tracks and screams. It was fucking, that'd be awful.
Yeah.
You're just in your fucking livestock, you see big ass fucking hooves and screams.
Imagine a fucking flying goat screaming at you.
That'd be awful. That'd be scary
Yeah,
shit.
but-
Regular goats are awful.
Those are the three I want to talk about, and those are actually the three probably the most popular ones.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah.
I don't really have my favorite like unknown cryptid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think all yours, like I was saying, kind of like ascend past the normal definition of cryptid. They kind of, not to say that they're not, but they all kind of become their own thing. They all have a culture around them and stuff. Especially Bigfoot.
If we ever have an SCP episode, I used to be a little big into SCP. I used to read all of them.
What
Yeah.
that thing in the
Secure Contain Protect.
yeah in
Yeah,
the
I always
Area
like
51.
I like those a lot too because it adds a mysterious vibe to it, much like a cryptid does. Because it's in a way you want to believe it,
Right.
but it's obviously fake.
It's a fan
It's bullshit.
community effort.
So
And some of them are funny.
Yeah.
Some of them are like hilarious.
yeah, but some of them are really cool too.
You
Yeah,
ever,
you'd have to look at the first. I think they're in seasons actually. The first season has all like the crazy, batshit crazy ones, and then you get up to the seventh, and it's like it's a fucking walking hot dog, man.
Yeah, it's a walking hot dog.
It's what the fuck? SCPs can be places, objects, or even ideas.
Yeah.
It's so fucking weird.
or even ideals.
It's
Dang,
really
that's crazy.
they expand everywhere.
That's about the most dangerous thing, really, is an ideal. I mean, look at communism. It kills a lot of fucking people.
One of my favorite ones is I don't know the SCP number, but it's in the North Pole because everything around it decays. You put it next to something, and it just fucks off.
Just kills it.
So they have to put it up.
They put it
so it doesn't.
so it kills polar bears. It kills fuck polar bears. Am I right?
Fuck up
Fuck
anything.
polar bears, right?
Yeah. I like how you said that it's like you want to believe it's true because it's kind of creepy and it's kind of it's mysterious, but you're like, it's bullshit. Have you ever seen the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, that one frame of the manga that's like the guy's like, it's bullshit, or he says that's bullshit,
No, I haven't.
but I believe it.
No, I haven't.
I'll have to send that to you. You should put that up on the screen.
Yeah, see, the way I look at this type of stuff is the way Fox Mulder puts it in the X-Files. I want to believe. When I say I want to believe, it means I want to have that encounter in order to force me to believe.
Right.
You want to see
I want to see it so I can believe.
Right.
That's
But-
how most of these
but
Bigfoot
other-
hunting groups come out.
Yeah.
Because they don't really believe in it yet. They just want the encounter.
Yeah,
to
they want
force
the
them into
encounter,
that area,
yeah.
into that position.
So that's the way I see it and the way I look at it
Yeah.
when I look at these things.
I agree. It's like I want to be a skeptic. Like, I want it to be real, but at the same time, I can't deny the skepticism of my nature.
Yeah.
So I want the experience to justify the means.
Yeah.
You gotta play that Bigfoot hunting game. I
Is
wish
it-
somebody would come out with like a full-fledged game, like a crazy open world. Like we're talking about the map that's like 10 times the size of GTA 5, and you're just thrown into this fucking area where you just have to hunt Bigfoot.
Cool.
And you have all this fucking equipment.
Didn't they have Bigfoot in like Grand Theft Auto 5 and you could shoot him with a sniper or something?
They put Bigfoot in Red Dead Redemption
Hell yeah.
on
Put him in
the
San
Undead
Francisco.
Nightmare.
Hell
Only
yeah.
Spanish, I think one of the Spanish versions. They had a Bigfoot mission. It was a guy in a costume. He had to go hunt down.
Hell yeah.
Well, that's basically all my big boys.
All yours.
Talk about theirs.
I guess I'll go next.
Okay.
Both of mine are actually centered in West Virginia, which I like to think West Virginia has a lot of stuff going for it right now with Fallout 76.
Oh, it's gonna be so
Everything.
fucking cool. I hope they do the Cryptids right. I hope they do them justice and being like this one top enemy
Oh yeah,
that
like
that you'll
Mothman.
have to stumble upon.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool because they are considered legendary creatures.
And they have
Right
a
there.
map for it. Fallout 76.
Yeah, it's big.
3 times bigger than the Fallout 4 map. And you got these rolling hills, empty spaces. Just fucking put a Mothman in there somewhere.
Yeah, just imagine Mothman coming out of nowhere and
I like
peeling your
Mothman
ass.
because in West Virginia they just got a fuck ton of statues on.
Yeah, over at Point Pleasant where Mothman is located. I guess I'll talk about him first. I mean, it all started with that collapse of that highway, and then that photographer took a picture of him, or it.
Do you still have that picture?
Have you seen it?
No.
Have you,
Maybe.
You not,
I've
you've
probably
not seen
seen
it?
it.
Let me look it up here for you.
Please pull up the one with the giant fucking moth and MC Rock.
Yeah, that's Mothman. This is Mothman. I'm gonna put that on there. But Mothman's pretty crazy. He's been alive for a little while.
Like,
And a lot of people say that they've seen him, but really all he wants is your headlamp.
He just wants your
He just
headlamp.
wants your fucking car headlights.
Lamp.
Just give it to him.
When you work at McDonald's and somebody comes through your drive-thru and you're like, "Hey, what do you want today?" And he's like, and he's like, "Sir, I can't hear you. Can you speak up?" Lamp.
Lamp.
I like to have festivals over here.
I mean, it's
Point
kind of
Pleasant.
well, Point Pleasant, in a way, is
Yeah, the
the
Mothman.
Roswell. It's like the Roswell of West Virginia because
Of Appalachia.
because I mean, Mothman.
They,
Everyone's heard of Mothman.
Right.
they sort of took Mothman and like made him into like a tourist attraction.
Yeah,
That's like what Roswell did with
Yeah.
aliens.
Right.
You know, you can go to Roswell. There's a little. It's called the Little Alien Inn or the Little
Yeah.
Alien
yeah.
It's like,
in
Who
Roswell
the
that
fuck
you can
cares?
stay at, and it's literally just a trailer park that you rent. You can rent a trailer in a
Right.
trailer park and stay there.
It's just because that's alien in the
Yeah.
name. And there's diners and stuff.
Yeah.
And themed after aliens
Yeah.
and things.
Now the
I've seen
festival
those.
is a weekend-long event held on the 3rd weekend of every September. You should definitely go. And they have
We
a
should.
Mothman pancake eating contest.
Yes, I was actually about to mention that. I seen a restaurant in there, and they make these pancakes that are shaped like the Mothman, and it's like shaped like a moth or something. And they put, you know how a Mothman has like
Red eye.
the red eyes. They put like raspberries or something.
That's the photo.
No,
If
I've
you
never
haven't
seen
seen
this
it.
photo.
You've never seen it.
yeah.
That's cool shit.
That's wild. Yeah. That's obviously something.
And
like,
it
you
also has a
can't.
fucking movie, like an actual like.
Yeah, people have made
Popular
movies.
movie.
Yeah, people have made tons of movies on him, tons of documentaries,
All the Bigfoot movies I ever saw were just like stupid child shit.
CGI stuff.
Like fucking Henry the Bigfoot.
Henry the Bigfoot.
I swear, there's 3
It's like-
movies over like some kid finding Bigfoot and trying to hide him from his parents.
It's like Howard Lovecraft, that CGI little kids movie about H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh God.
Have you seen
Yeah.
those?
No.
Sounds
Crazy.
awful.
I mean, no one's really for sure what he looks like because we've never seen him up close, obviously, and we can't say he's real because we don't know.
He's so cute.
But-
I like him.
It's Mothman.
Out of all the cryptics, that's the one. That's the one that really helps real.
Mothman.
Mothman.
Somehow, yeah.
He just wants your lamps.
He just wants lamps.
That's all he cares about. He doesn't give a fuck. Do they actually report killings of him?
No, I don't think.
He's just a big fucking moth.
They report whenever they report like a whole lot of natural disasters in that area.
Mm-hmm.
There's reportings of Mothman.
He'll like
So-
come by.
Yeah, they think that he's more or less an omen of bad luck
Yeah.
rather than an instigator of death and destruction.
Yeah, I have heard a story about him like chasing a car one time,
Yeah.
or something like that. He was like flying behind a car.
Yeah, I like that.
He's scary, scary
He's a
boy.
scary
It's kind of
boy.
part that I would do. That watercolor shit.
Yeah. But
Oh boy.
the other cryptid that I like from West Virginia, I just recently heard about this and didn't know it was real. It's from Braxton County, and it's called the Flatwoods Monster. Which, if you don't know what that is, some guy apparently reported seeing a UFO in the sky, and then later having seen or sighted this creature, alien or cyborg or just,
This thing looks fucking terrifying.
creature that looked like it's got an ace of spades for a head with like a really dressy kind of, I don't know how to describe it, body. I'll just put it.
It's like a very round
Look at
body
pictures
of it
that
now.
has
It's
like
fucking
some kind
terrifying.
of cloth on it. Yes, it's very
It's got
scary.
really big glowing round eyes with like really skinny arms.
See, that's actually the Mothman, but it's in its larva stage.
It's in its larva.
That's
And it's
imperfect
fucking huge.
cell.
It's like 12
Yeah.
foot tall.
But that's how that came around. I mean, I really don't know anything else about it that much, but other than, I think it's a pretty unique one because I've never heard about it until recently.
Yeah, it's very
That's an interesting point. A barn owl seen with claw-like hands and a face shaped like an ace of spades. Could just be a big fucking owl.
I think that's what they
Damn.
said it was. They said it was later seen to have been an owl perched on a tree with bushes underneath it, and the light in the sky
made
was
it.
supposed to be a meteor.
Uh,
So, but if that thing is real, and if it's still out there and it wasn't an owl, that's pretty kind of terrifying.
I'm never going to Braxton
really
County.
one
I'm just telling you that much.
sighting of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, it was
I'm
the
looking at
first
the
count.
newspaper. Comes ill after running with weird 10-foot monster. Jesus. That's really cool though.
Out of all these, this is the one that makes my skin crawl. It's like I don't know, something about its body.
Look at this fucking guy. He's a fucking weird
Salt
looking.
shaker. Yeah, a fucking salt shaker is what he is.
Shaking
Fucking
ace of
salt
spades,
shaker.
looking Mothman, fucking ass.
There's something about the body that really makes my skin crawl. It's like how it's like not, it doesn't look right, you know.
Yeah.
The arms need to
Actually
look
looks
differently.
something that would probably actually look like.
Probably.
Yeah,
Ace of spades.
that's actually a theory about what it is because, it could be just this random creature that just so happened to be near, say, a meteor shower or a UFO sighting.
Right.
Or it could be an alien robot,
Right.
the way it looks, the body, the way it's shaped.
It's very foreign.
Or it could be an alien.
Yeah, it could be an alien.
So,
yeah.
there's just no way of telling. Of course, this is also, skeptical.
Yeah.
Yo, is anybody going to talk about the alien big cat?
The alien big cat?
Was that
Or
a
the
Ben
Kraken?
10 hero?
The Kraken?
Kraken's probably one of the ones that I think is actually out there.
Giant squids exist.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
cool.
So-
Like, giant squid, but think of giant her squid.
The giantest squid.
Giantest
There you go,
squid
Kraken.
boar.
Vor porn. Giantest squid vor porn.
But that's the only two that I have for right now that I could think of.
To talk about mine, so I only have one that I really picked out I wanted to talk about, and it's called the Wendigo. Just to read like a brief summary of it, is the Wendigo is, forgive me if I pronounce this wrong for anybody that doesn't know how to pronounce it, but in Algonquian folklore, the Wendigo is a mythical man-eating monster or evil spirit native to the northern forests of the Atlantic coast and Great Lakes region of both the United States and Canada. So, what it looks like, to give a brief description for people that may be listening, but we'll throw a photo up on the screen so you can see it. It looks like a deer. It has like a deer's head with antlers, and it's a biped, so it's standing up on 2 feet, which are like hooves, and its body usually is very broad and decaying in some way. It has like a lot of its representations have like open rib cages or like some kind of like damaged flesh on the inside. So it's very terrifying. It's very tall. It's like a deer man almost.
It's super cool. It's like
It's like a Native
fucking,
American zombie.
weird forest spirit or something.
Yeah, it's like a forest spirit, and there's a lot of renditions of it, of different, like, what it may be or what it may not be. But the one that seems to be most popularized is that it's not so much a creature, like a physical being, but like a metaphysical being that exists as a spirit or like some type of higher level creature, because it has unearthly abilities. It obviously lives in a state of like what is almost death, the state of decay. So it can't be healthy if it was physical, and it seems like it wouldn't be able to live. But it looks like so that's unnatural in itself. And then people, when seeing it, also report crazy things happening. Like it travels unbelievably fast, like almost without.
Like you can fucking short teleport.
Yeah, it like moves instantly.
Because
like
the
Misty
Until
stuff
Dawn.
in D&D.
Have you guys ever seen Until Dawn the game?
Yeah.
Those are actually Wendigos.
Yeah.
And how those Wendigos are actually made by cannibalism. Which
That's
pretty sure
that's how
that's
part
the
of
popular one.
That's how part of the folklore of
So
Wendigo
you
is.
can turn into a Wendigo by excessive amounts of cannibalism. So that's pretty cool. I totally forgot that the fucking Until Dawn monsters were Wendigos. And so I was reading about the cannibalism thing. I was like, wait a minute. That's what those fucking things are.
Wendigos, they're pretty unique to the eastern location of the United States, like I said, in the eastern United States and in Canada. And they're usually reported not like out in the open, but deep in the forest. And when people go in there, especially at night, people have said to report it in the daytime too, but especially at nighttime, people seem to see them, which also adds to the skepticism because you may just be seeing a deer and getting freaked out in some way that's easily terrified.
There's a Wendigo in World of Warcraft. This is the big Yeti looking fucker.
What should we name this? Of all things that we can name this.
Wendigo?
No, Wendigo.
Wendigo.
Not a Yeti.
Here's the Until Dawn Wendigo.
Yeah.
That's just looks fucking weird.
Yikes.
That actually looks like one of the I forgot its fucking name, but it's actually in the part below, like the region below the Wendigo. And it's like an alien looking fuck. I remember seeing it on the map. I don't know what they're called though.
Yeah, there's tons of like visions of what a Wendigo looks like. There's one. The most popular is the one like you said.
Described.
Dover
deer.
Yeah, the Dover demon.
But yeah, the Dover demon. That's a
that's
cool
what
one.
it looks like.
A lot of people think that is also the rake. The Dover demon.
I forgot about the rake.
Yeah.
That's a really popular one.
There's tons of looks to the Wendigo. There's the one from Until Dawn where it's a human-esque creature that is obviously zombified. Then there's the more of the spirit, the annual or the deer, the very traditional one. And then there's a combination of the two as well, where it's a more human / animal hybrid type-esque creature.
Yeah.
Right.
So Fallout
Sayings
76
of how you create one
is going to have a Mothman, Flatwoods Monster. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
The Dover Demon.
Oh.
The Gafton Monster, and the Loveland Frogman.
What is...
Oh, it's a giant sloth. It's a giant fucking sloth.
The Gafton Demon? Or the Loveland?
The Loveland. Now...
Not a frog? Question mark?
If it's going to have the fucking Dover Demon, I'm not buying this fucking game.
Is that terrifying?
Yes, it's fucking Dover Demon. Stupid.
Yeah, it's
like on Jersey Devil kind of fucking scary.
Have you seen the? He just showed you a picture of the Dover Demon, right?
Fucking
That's that's the same image people use for the rake.
Yeah,
but
I've seen it before. So.
The Dover Demons are supposed to be much smaller, and a lot of people attribute them to like gray aliens.
Yeah, I can see
because that's
that.
what they look like.
Yeah, it's very terrifying.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this monster before.
It's going to have the Flatwoods Monster into it too, which, like you said, is a very not popular one.
Yeah, it's not very popular at all.
But if Fallout 76 is going to have it, that's going to be really fun. Yeah, and you know,
West
the
Virginia,
beta is
man.
coming out very soon. Fallout 76 is coming in November, like early November. Yeah. So the beta is actually going to be in October.
Hell yeah.
I'm glad that they're going to be adding these
we're already
cryptids into the game.
Hell yeah.
Incorporating them into the game. Because a lot of people may look over them. A lot of people aren't interested in them. Because a lot of people think, oh, it's bullshit, I don't care about that stuff.
Right.
But there's also some people, like us, who are, in a way, how do I put quote unquote mesmerized.
Yeah,
or
good word.
I guess mesmerized is the best word for it.
Intrigued.
Yeah,
intrigued by them.
By them.
By
Because,
the possibility.
Yeah, it's the possibility of the unknown.
Right.
So
I think everybody appreciates that to some extent. Is about the unknown. A lot of people don't hear about these. Like obviously us. Like I never heard about the Braxton Monster before. Some of the other ones that we've mentioned.
This might be an image from False 76.
That is.
That's fucking not cool.
I think that's the Grafton Demon. I looked that up. I have no idea what the Grafton Monster is. Never heard of it.
Here's the fucking giant sloth they're gonna have, dude. I'm so
What
excited.
the hell?
They have like a fucking
big sloth.
12-foot tall sloth with mushrooms growing on its back. And it's
Hell.
gonna fucking run at you at 50 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Imagine.
It's so fucking cute.
I feel like he's just gonna be a friend. Like he's
He's cute as hell.
He's just gonna be chill. He's just gonna sit around and eat the mushrooms off his back.
Just eat some mushrooms.
Sit around.
Has some hallucinogenic mushrooms going on him.
He's cute as fuck.
Yeah.
I would shit myself if I went outside and saw that.
These are other renditions of what a Dover demon is. As you can see, it looks a lot like a gray alien.
Yeah, it's very similar to a gray alien. To like to the short
They're fucking
gray
racist.
alien
With a big head and the big eyes.
Big eyes.
Yeah.
Gray aliens, if we were to put, which we're not talking about aliens, but if we're putting them into the category of cryptids, gray aliens have two basic renditions. One is a short gray alien with a big head and big eyes, and one is a tall gray alien with big head and big eyes.
Usually the tall one's like the leader.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's what I'm assuming because a lot of people...
He's the tallest one. We got to make him the leader.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense because the way I've always heard it is that the shorter ones are the workers.
Yeah, I could see that.
And the taller ones are the more...
like intelligent ones.
Yeah, intelligent ones.
That's
and
that's
there's a pretty interesting theory, I believe, where the worker gray aliens are actually human hybrids.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Because I watched it. Well, since we're not talking about aliens, I'm not going to talk about it. I'll wait.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about aliens in the middle of this. Which, if we were talking about aliens, I could go on for a long time.
Yeah, me too.
Probably hope that the Wendigos in there.
Yeah.
People are talking about.
Yeah, it's bullshit. There's no Wendigo in there.
They might, because there's cannibalism in Fallout.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a cannibalistic ability.
Because Todd said himself, they're going to put about as much as they can fucking fit in that thing. So there's no doubt in my mind they're going to throw in a goddamn Sasquatch in there. They're going to throw in the
there will probably be a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Gotta be a Bigfoot.
You can't put a Bigfoot. You can't have the fucking Mothman, the Flatwoods Monster, and not a fucking Bigfoot.
And the Dover Demon.
Yeah, you gotta put a Dover in there. I'm so fucking terrified now. I hate that goddamn thing.
Yeah, those things are those things are pretty creepy. It's that and the Braxton Monster that really creep me out. Is those
they
two
have the
things.
Grafton Monster, which is just a big fucking rock boy. They have that on.
Yeah, I looked that up and I've never heard of that before. And when I was looking for it, I didn't see anything about it. So I don't know if it's real or if it's just it's just a creature that they created for Fallout.
I'm so fucking. I was not expecting the Flatwoods Monster. That's really boggles my mind.
That rustles my jimmies.
It rustled my jimmies.
Well, you guys have any more you guys want to talk about?
Yeah.
Nah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think we've discussed quite a few of them. Well, we're an hour into it.
It's a good 30-minute episode.
Yeah.
We'll talk about aliens next.
So,
Yeah, I think that's
alright. I guess we're gonna close her out here. It's been fun discussing this. I enjoyed it.
Leave your favorite crypto boy in the comment section below.
Actually, don't.
Please don't. Please don't make fun of us.
We don't want to hear your
Don't subscribe
Don't
or like
subscribe.
the channel either. Jesus,
Please leave us alone.
leave us alone.
So
this has been the very first episode of the Cryptic Castaways. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll be able to push out a few more during the rest of this month. So, alright.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.